Hey guys, welcome back to MYP Unit Planners Part 1 Inquiry. Today we're going to be talking about the ATL or Approaches to Learning section of our unit planner. So let's get started. So first, in our MYP at HHS Canvas page, we're going to be in Part 1 Inquiry. And we want to have access to our unit planner. So we're going to go to the OneDrive. I've been working in a science unit planner based on my time as a biology teacher. So now I've got that, and we're going to scroll down to our section on approaches to learning. We did assessment last time, that was awesome. Now we're going to do approaches to learning. Okay, so what are some resources we've got for this section? We've got our ATL Skills and Criterion, we've got our full ATL list, and we've got our assessment and ATL graphic organizer. So I'm going to open my ATL Skills and Criterion. Okay, that's going to help me make some decisions on which criterion I'm using and which ATL skills go with that. There it is. Okay, this is a really cool resource from a website called Toddle, and they created basically a stretch of what kind of approaches to learning you can find for each criterion, each of the 4 criterion of your subject group. Okay. We're also going to want to look at our full ATL list. So open that in a new tab, and our ATL and assessment graphic organizer. All right, this guy is really beneficial because it gives us a list of every single approach to learning. There's like 119. Actually, I think I'm going to download this so I can search for some key terms in the PDF. That makes it a little bit easier. And then this guy is something that you guys can use in your content cues, and I'll show you guys how to use that here in just a little bit. Okay, so first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to connect each approach to learning that I decide that I want to really focus on this unit to one of my assessment criteria. So for this unit, I'm using criterion C, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assessment criteria. So I think in this one I only have 4. So I'm going to make another row here because I need to have 5, just like in the other guy. So copy this, paste it here. All right, now I've got 5, and now I don't need any new rows. Okay, so I'm going to take my assessment objectives. So present, collected, and transformed data. I'm going to put them in here. Okay, so in order for students to do this assessment task, they will need to be able to do this ATL skill. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my assessment criteria exactly from my summative assessment area and copy and paste it down here. So present, collected, and transformed data. Present, collected, and transformed data. Okay. Probably don't need that period. And what I like to do to give myself a little visual is I like to highlight both sides when I'm finished. So present and collected and transformed data. Present, collected, and transformed data. That guy is done, ready to rock and roll. Okay, interpret data and explain results using scientific reasoning. So for my second one, I'm going to say interpret data and explain results using scientific reasoning. Okay. I'm going to highlight this guy, yellow, this guy, yellow. Good, that one's done. Okay, evaluate the validity of a hypothesis based on an outcome of a scientific investigation. So, let's evaluate the validity of a hypothesis based on an outcome of the scientific investigation. Evaluate here. Oops. Here. Highlight. Highlight. Evaluate the validity of the method. That. This guy. Yellow. It looks like I need an extra one. I didn't make enough copies there. Highlight. Alright, so I'm going to make one more row here. And one more row. This guy. Writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, reading. Okay, now I want to change this. Evaluate the validity of the method to explain improvements or extensions to the method. Explain improvements or extensions to the method. Okay, so now I have all 5 of my assessment criteria here. And so now I want to pick out an ATL skill indicator that's going to help each kid perform this part of their assessment. So if I want my kids to present collected and transformed data, what ATL skill are they going to need? Okay, so I'm going to look at my ATL skills. They're separated into 5 categories: communication, social, self-management, research, and thinking. Okay, so I'm going to use the Control F feature, and I'm going to look for data. Okay, so here's one that says collect, record, and verify data. My kids aren't going to really collect any data, so I'm not going to use that one. Collect and analyze data to identify solutions and make informed decisions. That one makes a little bit more sense. Process data and report results. Processing, I think, would count more towards this guy. Let's see. Collect and analyze data. With, okay. And then, let's see, there's one more. It says interpret data. Okay. All right, so we've got a few data ones. Interpret data is exactly the same as this guy. Interpret data and explain results using scientific reasoning. So students will need to interpret data. Okay, so that's the skill indicator. So each of these bullets are the skill indicators. Then we want to fill out the rest by doing the skill category and the skill cluster. So the category is the big, bold, black one. Okay, so the category is thinking. And the skill cluster is critical thinking skills. All right, so then in this last column, we are going to do some highlighting of how kids will use Wicker, writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading in order to do that. So kids will definitely be using writing and inquiry for this section. So this connects to our AVID part of the school. Okay, so then we're going to take this interpret data section, make it purple, and I'm going to put him here in ATL. Students, they will need to interpret data. Okay, so the purple goes with purple, and the yellow goes with yellow. All right, so in this section, we're going to want to choose a few ways that students will practice this skill explicitly and implicitly during the production, like during the beef of the unit. Okay, so not just having them interpret data for the first time on their summative. We want to give them a few opportunities to practice before they get to the summative. Okay, so students will interpret data during different sections of the unit. We will use otter data, human data, peacock data, and what's the last one? Dog data. Okay? So these students will have multiple opportunities. So we can do maybe lesson number 2, lesson number 6, 7, and 9. Okay? And the formative assessment will be Nearpod demonstrations of correct, pedigree, Punnett square, and protein synthesis practice. Okay? Now, implicitly taught skill strategy, this one is super weird and I'm still trying to figure that out. So we can actually leave this one for now. I need to do some more learning myself before I try to help you guys out with that. Okay? So you're going to do the same process where you're going to find an ATL. Okay, so I might want to present collected and transformed data. Another one that I might want to use, let's go back up to my data ones. Process and report results. I think process data and report results really matches with this because it's all about presentation. Okay, so process data and report results. Okay. And this one is in the research information literacy. So research information literacy. Okay. So I'm going to make this guy purple. Purple. I'm making purple again over here. Right. Purple. Okay, so then I would talk about when and how I'm going to purposefully have the students practice this processing data and reporting results. Now, if you are doing this at the beginning of a unit and you're like, Shay, I don't even know how to plan this stuff out, that's okay. That's why I made this graphic organizer. So what you guys can do with this is you can take your criterion. So I would have C. I'd write out all my little numerals. I would choose an ATL for each section. And then what does each of the kids need to do for the summative for that section? Then you guys as a content team can purposely plan parts of your lessons. How do you want to break this down? Where are your kids right now with processing data? And where do you want them to be at the end? Okay, so this tool right here is a super valuable resource. You can print it out. You can take it to your content meetings. And that's really going to help you guys with this section of the unit planner. All right, I only have 15 minutes to use my screen recorder, so I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but hopefully this makes sense, and you guys can easily work on this on your own. Okay, and final wicker announcements. Boom. Actually, I think even all 5 of these are processing data and reporting. So we win that one. That was awesome. Okay, see you guys next time.